Welcome back to another episode of The John, your daily sports dump, where we plunge into the sports world. We are a sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest takes in the sports industry. So by taking care of business, let us flush out the details and fill you in on what's happening. So take a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you have plenty of TP. It's time to explode the commode. I'm your host, John, and today I'll be giving you guys my 5 best sports movies of all time. And I'm kind of doing this in spirit of Happy Gilmore 2. Great. The first one was great. Second one, I'm not going to really spoil it for you guys. It was not bad, but it had big shoes to fill, and that's all I'm going to say on that. But first, I got to start out with with the first movie, and this is in no particular order. It has to be Remember the Titans. Denzel Washington is fantastic in that movie. Also, you're going to see with a lot of these movies that it's not just about the movie, but it's about like what happens in the movie, in the sense of Remember the Titans is good with the acting and everything, but also the touchy subjects that it brings up with race and with team bonding and how teams are and winning cultures are built. I think that's really great for not only sports but for a movie. And also, you have Denzel Washington, who's one of the best actors in those kind of films. I think he was awesome in that movie. And another movie that's very similar to it is 42. Chadwick Boseman was awesome. And you didn't realize, everyone, especially now, because not many people were, I don't think anyone was alive when Jackie Robinson was playing now, unless you're old. You're not a younger guy, girl. And this was eye-opening for me when I watched it for the first time, because it showed what it was like. Like, you hear stories, but the movie kind of puts it into perspective what Jackie Robinson had to deal with. And also it just shows how much stronger and how Jackie Robinson was able to prevail through all of that and become one of the best players in baseball, and how he had to deal with not only his skin in the world hating him, but his teammates literally hating him, until they took some time and finally realized it doesn't matter his color of his skin. He's a great baseball player, and I think that's a great movie. I think that it shows kind of how much this world has changed. And I think Jackie Robinson does a great job of Chadwick Boseman does a great job of embodying Jackie Robinson. I think they picked the best actor for the job. I think Chadwick Boseman did a great job of playing it. And I'm a baseball guy, as you guys know, so it definitely played with me a little bit more. It got to me a little more. It touched my baseball heart a little more, just because you've heard about Jackie Robinson, you heard about all those stories, but you didn't understand it until I think you watched that movie. You knew about him, but you didn't really. I think the movie gave me a better understanding of just how hard it was for Jackie Robinson and how much more impressive it is for him that he was able to come out and able to be one of the best players of all time. And now this one, you guys might argue saying it's 2 movies. I consider them one. It's just a huge franchise. The Rocky and Creed movies. I mean, the Rockies is, everyone knows, one of the best ones. Rocky is basically any of the 6 I think he made. Of the 6 Rockies, I mean, it's amazing. It's a dude it starts with a guy who just needs some money and picks up a random fight against the best boxer in the world, and then shocks the world, goes toe-to-toe with him, and then Rocky becomes one of the best boxers in the world. And I think they did the thing that I love about this franchise, the Rocky and Creed franchise, is how great they did with continuing the franchise and how they picked up kind of right where they left off. I think that's an issue with a lot of the movie franchises now, is they don't stick to the the basics of what it was in the beginning. Like with these new Jurassic World, it's a completely different like segment franchise. There's no continuation of anything prior. No actors from the originals. No real storylines from the originals. They kind of make up this stuff. But with the Rockies and Creed picked up right where it left off. You bring back Rocky. You bring back Creed in the sense of his kid, and I think it's a great job of how they did that. You bring back Creed's wife. You bring back all of these key characters in the movie and in the lives of these guys, and I think they do a great job. I think they do a great job of Rocky is kind of his version of Creed to Creed's kid. I think Creed was a leader and a role model for Rocky until he obviously passed. And then Creed's role model is Rocky. Rocky kind of guides him into, being the star boxer that he is. Now, obviously, the third Creed is a rough watch, but the first two are amazing, and I think they do a great job of continuing the storylines and building on the storylines throughout the movies. It's not like they randomly throw in a random curveball. It's all very well thought out, very well written, and I think that's what makes it great. Another movie that I think is great, and I think if you haven't watched it, you need to, is Coach Carter. Samuel L. Jackson is amazing. This movie is one of those movies where when you sit down and then the movie's over, it feels like it was 30 seconds. That movie had me glued to my chair. I don't remember ever looking at my watch or anything because that movie was going by fast, and the lessons that Samuel L. Jackson teaches in it to these guys that need sort of guidance. He's a great guidance. Also, it does a great job of showing how much people love sports and how important sports are for kids. Because those kids in that movie basically only had basketball until Samuel L. Jackson got there and he became sort of that elite role model that they needed in their lives. But he also, if you're trying to watch a movie clip to fire you up, watch Samuel L. Jackson deliver some pregame speeches in this because that will fire you up. He does a great job of delivering the lines. I think the storylines in that movie are awesome. The issues that they have to deal with being sort of a poor school in a rough neighborhood, how Samuel L. Jackson comes back to high school that he was so great at. I like it. I think, and I'm going to say this with a lot of these movies, the storylines in these movies all add up. It's not like a random curveball, like in the most recent Jurassic World, where you throw in a random D-Rex, which is a mutation animal. It makes no sense to me. I think that if you have storylines, you need to add them up. They need to make sense. And I think in all of these movies, they've done a great job of doing that. And then my final one, I do have an honorable mention because I felt like this movie needed to be honorably mentioned. But my final top five, this one, it's probably my favorite sports movie of all time. It's Moneyball. Now, a lot of it, they didn't do a great job of necessarily focusing on how great the A's pitching staff was during this time with Barry Zito, but Jonah Hill was, amazing in this. Brad Pitt was awesome. They did a great job of kind of showing how small market teams are successful. And we're seeing it right now in baseball with the Brewers. The Brewers have one of the lowest payrolls in baseball, and they're one of the best teams in baseball now. And a lot of these teams that are great at baseball with the lower sort of salaries take something from this. It's a lot of the stats. You see now, guys will hit 200, but they have something high on base percentage, high OPS. They're going to be on an MLB roster because of this movie. I think this movie, not only was it great for the baseball nerd in me, but also the baseball fan, because it shows you as a fan, you always want to see what's going through the managers, the GM's head. What are they looking at when they're trying to get someone? And I think this movie does a great job of showing that. I think it does a great job of seeing how each team in front office looks at numbers. Now, obviously, it's not a model, same thing as the actual A's front office, but it was very similar, obviously. And I think they did a great job. I think Brad Pitt did a great job of playing Billy Beane. I think that Billy Beane is one of the best. Was now it's but I think they did a great job in that movie of depicting how winning with such a low payroll in baseball is done. And I think that one has to be my favorite. It probably has some bias just because I am a baseball fan. But if you guys disagree with that, let me know. And then my honorable mention, this movie I had to watch like 4 or 5 times through during my senior year of high school. So that maybe Southpaw has to be up there. I had to watch it a lot in my senior year, as I said before. So I think it's very similar, like I was saying, to Creed and Rocky, where it's a comeback story. His wife gets killed, and he has to be a good father. And he has to make this comeback to be a successful father, successful boxer, to make money. He has to prove himself to not only his daughter but to the world that he still has it, that he can still produce for them. And I think it's awesome. I think that he was at the top, and then all of it goes down. He loses everything, and then it's a great comeback story. I think that if you have not watched one, and out of these, I think this one is one that will really, really, you will enjoy. But that's all I have for this episode, guys. Thanks for tuning into today's episode of The John, your daily sports dump, where I give you my top 5 sports movies of all time and one honorable mention because I felt like I had to. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram for sports updates and hot takes in real time. And if you're looking for even more sports talk, check out the Sports Syllabus Show, where my partner and I tackle the hottest topics in college sports and beyond. It's a strong, two-ply discussion. Strong, reliable, and always ready to clean up the messiest takes in sports. Join me next time on The John, your daily sports dump, where I'll be baptizing a baby Ruth with a splash of sports insights. Until then, keep your game face on and stay regular. This is The John.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.